That's third party.
All right, we were looking at writing the trig ratios when you are given the picture with all three sides. Don't forget to rationalize. Then we looked at writing the trig ratios when you're giving the three original and there is no picture. So you have to lay it out, find the reciprocal. Don't forget to rationalize. Then we looked at finding the trig ratios when you're only given one trig ratio, which means you have to draw the picture, use Pythagorean theorem to find the missing side, set up your 6 trig ratios. Don't forget to rationalize. Do you see the layers of questions here? Started easy, went challenging, more challenging. Now you got multi-step.
Is that why our My Math Lab is 28 questions long?
Yes, also because
Y'all didn't know that?
have you not looked at it yet?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
No,
It's also because the sections usually are never taught in just one day. And it's for that, like there's a lot of steps involved. So it'll be spaced out. Also, I do have to go in more frequently now and remove stuff because there's a lot of questions that go off on the deep end that there's no reason for us to be swimming in that area, I guess you could say. All right, so go to this one. This should look familiar. Determine the 6 trig values of this triangle. What type of triangle is it though?
45, 45, 90.
Right. Correct. So they want the 6 trig values. You know how I do this. I lay it out in a systematic way. Actually, it just says the trig values. It doesn't say all 6. I'm looking to see. Let's don't do all 6. Let's just do sine, cosine, tangent. Sine. Now, does it matter which angle I use?
No.
Because it's an isosceles triangle, so it doesn't matter if I'm doing one angle 45 or the other angle 45.
Rise.
It is isosceles. We do have 2 congruent angles. We have 2 congruent legs. We do have a hypotenuse that is root 2. You're writing the trig ratios in rationalized form, sine, cosine, tangent, of that special right triangle. Did you get root 2 over 2 for sine?
If we put a 1 before the root 2, does it matter?
Yeah.
I'll put 1 root 2 over 2.
It does not matter, but train yourself not to do it because you're not going to see it when it's like an answer choice or if there's a problem and they're giving you this along the way, you won't see the 1. Cosine 45, do I really need to find it?
No, it's the same thing.
It's going to be the same thing because it was an isosceles triangle.
And then tangent's pretty easy.
What's tan?
1.
Can you tell me why is tan 1?
Because it's 1 over 1.
Keep going. Because it was an
Sausage
It's
line.
triangle.
So what if the opposite and the adjacent were the numbers 4?
It'd still be 1.
Tan would still be 1 because 4 divided by 4 is
I almost said 4.
1.
Boing, womp womp.
So I want you to make a note. Tan of any isosceles triangle is always 1. And it's because the legs are congruent, if you need to make that note. Because the legs are congruent. Every time. It's because it's isosceles. So that's a neat little shortcut if you can remember. I'm dealing with isosceles. Tan's going to be 1. Doesn't matter what the legs actually measure. If I'm doing tan, I'm dividing opposite over adjacent. So it'll always be 1. Okay, turn to the next slide. Do the exact same thing, but we have a 30, 60, 90. We do have a little work to do first.
So, I don't like this.
You'll be fine.
I quit.
The withdrawal date has not passed if you're wanting to quit.
We've got to find A right here. How would I find it? Pythagorean theorem. It is the
What'd you
long leg. Do you remember the formula for the long leg of a 30, 60, 90?
It's the other leg times root 3, isn't it?
Yes. Short root 3. Yes. Let's pretend like you forgot that though. So we'll do Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus 1 squared equals 2 squared.
That's pretty simple.
That's supposed to be a 2.
A squared
Plus.
equals.
So A squared equals 3, right? So A is root 3. Or, I'm going to say in parentheses, or the long is the short times root 3. In parentheses. That was what Landon was saying that we practiced. So 1 times root 3 is root 3. Now we know that the long is root 3. Now what I need you to do is create 2 columns. We're just doing sine, cosine, tangent, but you're going to do it with the 30-degree angle. And then the 60.
Answers.
Nothing. Just keep smiling.
I hate that movie.
Aw. It's such a cute movie.
You know what the best movie of all time is?
That's subjective, but go ahead and reveal your opinion.
Cars 2.
Facts.
Negative.
Valid.
Cars 2 is the best movie ever made.
Or if it were a discussion post, while your answer has some value to it,
Your answer doesn't matter. My answer is the right one.
Mine has more
I respectfully
value.
disagree.
Exactly.
Mine has more value.
Name me a better
If we
movie.
were to put our answers on scales, mine weighs more.
Give me a better movie. Give me a movie that has a better storyline and plot than Cars 2.
Brave Little Toaster.
What the heck? No.
What is Brave
No.
Yeah, no one's ever watched that movie.
No.
I don't think.
Okay, y'all's homework is to find
No.
Brave Little Toaster
I'm
and
not
watch
watching
it,
it.
and you're gonna need tissues. It's gonna make you
Give us
laugh.
100 on the My Math Lab and I'll watch it.
50?
Then I gotta do that.
Where the red phone grows.
Guys, I cried
No.
for an hour last night.
No.
because I saw that the ban of the extra large bulldogs
Oh yeah.
in the UK, they have to, like, if they go out in public now, they have to wear their muzzles. And that made me cry. The extra ban.
Yeah.
They
Womp
ban.
womp.
The extra large bulldogs.
Yeah.
Ban.
Ban.
In England and Scotland and like the UK.
B-A-N-N-E-D.
If they have to go out, they have to wear muzzles.
Have you not heard about that? They have,
No.
if they were in the shelter, they put them all down.
Yeah.
No matter how old they were.
So, shelters around here, they euthanize, put down, sick, aggressive.
Heather, what is this?
Shelters shelters are like house.
For some reason, they are less adopted. And I don't know if it's maybe because of they shed and you see the hair more often than you would like a yellow lab. Look,
I was playing on 300 feet last night.
oh, the pound absolute owner surrenders,
It was
they
bad. I
pull
don't
it
know.
down immediately.
Oh, I need to figure this out. Sign 30, opposite over pot.
She has her music on. She's like,
Let me see.
So sign. Oh,
Did you rationalize and finish 5.3? 6, 6, 5.6? You really, let's see, you didn't have to rationalize any of them, right? So sine of 30 would be 1/2. Cosine 30 would be root 3 over 2. Tan 30 would be, oh, you had to rationalize this one. 1 over root 3 or root 3 over 3. Sine 60, root 3 over 2. Cosine 60, 1 over 2. Tan 60.
Root 3 over 1.
hey!
Which
Sorry. Sorry.
no, you're not.
I
You're
didn't
not
mean
sorry
to.
at all for the
I
jump scare.
can't help that. That hurt.
Apparently,
You warned us.
apparently
I was about to
you
sneeze.
scared Caitlin Dinkins
Yeah, I have the videos of them.
half to death when she had to watch the video. Yeah, and you were like over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I sneezed and I said, I'm sorry.
Did you get those?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
I
so
hope so.
come to this slide.
On board.
Did you notice all of the answers you just found are in this nice, pretty chart?
Chloe, look, they're in the chart. In the chart.
Wait, are you
Chloe wasn't paying attention at all.
I'm still thinking about how they put down dogs.
No, don't. You'll start to don't.
I know.
I
can't-
Serious?
I cried for hours.
So one day at
Boring.
Northwest, listen, one day at Northwest, this giant yellow lab shows up outside in our parking lot. You know where Northwest is?
Yeah.
You know that highway?
I'm zoned for
All the time dogs get run over on that highway, and I can't stand it. It makes me, like, I'll lose it.
Are you talking about the highway where you can like see the football field?
Where the school is right in front of me. My classroom was a trailer in the parking lot that year, and the yellow lab showed up, and it was sweet, and it was trained, so I put him in my room. And then I tried calling all around, and I'm like, taking pictures, posting. I'm like, somebody's dog is right
Alright,
here,
you
and I
gotta do
cannot let him
something
go
now.
because he's going to get run over. And then
How do you
I
zero
called
people
the
console?
animal shelter, and I said, I need you to come pick this dog up because I don't want him to get run over. He is someone's dog. I'm trying to find the owner. They came to pick the dog up. When the guy got there, I said, so what's the process? I find the owner, they come get the dog, and he said, yeah, they'll have to pay a fee to pick the dog up. And I'm like, how much is the fee? And I think it was like 50 or something. I'm like,
yes.
okay, well, can I pay the fee for them? Because I don't want them to feel punished for, and they said, well, it's to teach them more owner responsibility. And I said, what if the owner, if I can't, how long do I have? And they said 5 days. And I'm like, so I'm sending the dog, like, what happened? They said, we'll put the dog down.
What?
Y'all, I panicked. Like, everything went to the side. I'm like, I am saving this dog. I was neurotic about it. I was posting nonstop, trying to find, I was calling. And then I learned that the owner was not the first time that the dog had gotten out. So then I was ticked because I'm like, your beautiful dog is going to get hit because you're not trying to keep it in your yard, or take some type of, like, train it or shock collar, something that will just, well, and I don't think it was fixed. So they run when they're, yes, he was on the prowl.
He was on a hunt.
Around town.
Long story short, I learned of so New Yorkers want our dogs. Like, it's a big to-do. Like, they will come down here and transport dogs up north all the time. So I went to the shelter. I took pictures of every dog in the shelter. I posted on Facebook. I'm like, is this your dog? If not, do you want a dog? Come get this dog. There was a Dalmatian. There was a golden retriever. The golden retriever had bit someone, so I wasn't allowed to share his picture because they were going to court, and the dog was going to be put down if they found the dog to be malicious. I learned so much that it made my heart just heavy, and I couldn't function. And a friend of mine who works in animal abuse and everything, she said, do you now realize you can't save them all because you'll drive yourself nuts? And how big of a situation it is. Like, we need to spay and neuter our dogs in this area because it's so bad. And I was like, yes, I'm so sorry. You know? So the lab ended up getting rescued up north. And then the Dalmatian got rescued in Florida. I saved the Dalmatian.
Okay, so you saved two.
I did. I saved two that I know for sure.
I know a girl who hit a dog on her way to work and she didn't even stop to see if it was okay. She just lived there. I would not be able to live with myself.
I ran over a dog in the middle of the street when it was pitch black, and it was already had been hit, and I hit it again, and I had an asthma attack and had to pull over and call my mom, and I was like trying to figure out who.
No, that would add to.
Like, I had a full-on asthma attack.
I had a bird last month.
Freshman year, ran over a dog.
I've never had an animal.
I ran over a squirrel the other day.
If I run over anything, I'm in full
Never hit a
hysteria.
squirrel, but I did hit a bird.
It's all recording.
Freshman year, my bus driver ran over a dog. With all of us on that bus.
You ran over what?
I would.
It's like cat ran out in front of my car. I really don't.
I can feel their pain. I don't know why. I immediately feel it.
Like,
Brad will like run over squirrels, and he's like, actually, they're tree rats, and I'm like, but I've seen it.
See, I sit in the backyard with a pellet gun and shoot squirrels for
My
fun.
papa used to do that and
That's terrible.
it broke my heart. Like,
My younger cousin shot one the other day in the backyard and he skinned it and made it for dinner. There's no reason to have a P2 on a sniper.
okay, let me show you this. There's two things you're gonna see a lot. There's a reason it's highlighted here. You may want to highlight it on yours. If
I did.
I'm asking for an exact answer, I'm referring to fraction, radical form. If I ask for an approximation, I'm referring to decimals. So you need to know the difference between the two when you go to these IXLs. When you go to this My Math Lab, read carefully. That way you know what form they want. Go to the next slide. This is going to be super easy. You will need your calculator. It says find the following trig values. We do need to make a note. Your calculator for right now needs to be in degree mode. We will eventually learn radians, and then we will stick with radians, but for right now, go to degree mode. So it's asking us to find these trig function values. Well, some of them are straightforward. You just type it in. Some of them, you have to write it in reciprocal form. It does say go to 4 decimal places. So, tan 29.7. You would go to your calculator. You would type tan 29.7. Then you would round.
Sorry.
Bless you. Thank you for not sneezing and causing me to come out of my skin. Yeah.
Oh, you got headshots out there.
Yeah. Gonna have to make Allie put me in the jar.
Quarters. Oh, Miss Holcombe, remind me to tell you something.
Just like you.
I
Remind me to tell you something.
I know. I'm just teasing. Alright, B.
Oh.
Secant. Do you see a secant button on your calculator? Remember that thing I said, learn how to write it as the reciprocal? No, okay, great question. The -1 means inverse. And that's a common misconception. The little -1 means inverse. That's when you're looking for the angle of the triangle. Secant is the reciprocal, so there is a difference. The way that I do it is I say to myself, if I'm looking for the secant of 48, that will be the same thing as 1 over the cosine of 48. So look what I
You
did
split
there.
that.
Secant is the reciprocal of cosine. And then now you can go to your calculator and type
2 and
1
2.
divide
I
cosine
wanted
of
3
48.
and 1.
Did y'all see this? Because this is tricky. Sine 84, you should be able to just punch that in and then look up here and see if you rounded it correctly. Make sure you don't get these wrong because of rounding. I'd hate for you to know the college level part, but you got the rounding part wrong. And then I didn't like leaving it at that. I wanted to make sure and practice all 6 trig ratios. So it says extra examples, and that's where I typed in some more. If you will try those. Cosine, you can just type it in, but you're going to have to type the reciprocal for cosecant and cotan. You don't have to, and on my math lab, if I remember correctly, you don't have to type it, and we won't get it wrong if it ends in 0. If I remember correctly, yeah. 9511. Lots of word problems in here. I'm really sorry. Remember from college algebra. Read it one time through. Mark out what you don't need, draw a picture, and then go to what you know. All right, so how do I write cosecant in terms of sine? There you go. 1 over sine of that angle. And that's what you can type in the calculator. I just said it, and then I wrote it on 0, 4. Did you get that? How do I write the reciprocal for cotan?
1 over 10.
There you go. So on F, that's where she was asking, do you have to write the 0? You don't, but you can. Alright, let's stop there. Make sure you start working through your My Math Lab.
Yes, ma'am.